6 Music.
You are now entering a parallel universe.
And wipe your feet on the way in.
Marc Riley, BBC 6 Music.
Tradition would have it that at this point I dedicate that particular tune to Will Sargent of Echo and the Bunnymen, but I know that Will won't hear it because I know that Echo and the Bunnymen are on tour in America because I follow him on Twitter and he's always posting loads of great photographs. But regardless of all of that, I am Marc Riley still, and I am now in the company of Mr. Bob Hughes. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. So, well, yeah, we'll look at the Enemy here, 29th of April, 1978. What a great cover. Craftwork on the cover in that classic shot.
Iconic.
Oh, just wonderful. More of them in a bit. So on the news front, Enemy's man in New York, Paul Rambali, tells us that one of the Ramones is quitting the band. We've sworn to secrecy as to which particular brother this is to ease your grief, but we can tell you it's not Joey. All will be revealed, they say, in the imminent future when our scribe returns with the exclusive interview. As we know, this turned out to be Tommy, of course, didn't it?
Yeah, he was older than the rest, wasn't he? Anyway.
He was. And I think he wanted to move into... He ended up staying on as a producer for a while as well, didn't he? I think that's where he didn't feel quite as comfortable in the band, just wanted to be behind the scenes, or in the control room at least.
Fairly doos.
Also in the news, you've got Bob Dylan is at last coming to Europe, and the British leg of his tour comprises a series of 6 major gigs at London's giant Earls Court Stadium on successive days in June. Details of his visit haven't yet been revealed officially, but the Enemy will let you know next week. The 6 gigs will give 90,000 British devotees the opportunity of seeing Dylan in action in this country for the first time since the near-legendary Isle of Wight festival. That is quite a break, isn't it?
It is,
8
yeah.
years.
God, blimey, I didn't realise, that's some gap.
Yeah, completely. The Buzzcocks, meanwhile, headline another British tour starting next weekend, lasting over a month. So far, 18 dates have been set, including a headlining gig at the Roundhouse in London. It's possible more may be added. The tour goes out under the banner of Entertaining Friends, with Penetration as support act on all dates, with the likelihood of various other bands being added at different venues. The Buzzcocks' new single, I Don't Mind, has just been released, and so goes through all the tour dates. I presume you saw them in 70. You saw them a lot anyway. It's 78. It doesn't actually have a Manchester date on here, weirdly.
Does it not? Well,
everywhere else, though.
Yeah, I mean, if I was about at that time, if I wasn't out in the band, then I would have gone and seen them. I saw them loads and loads and loads.
Yeah. Also in the news, PJ Proby has been sacked from the cast of the hit musical Elvis at London's Charing Cross Astoria, alleging breach of contract. Producer Ray Cooney commented he kept saying a lot of things that weren't in the script. Proby played the oldest of the 3 Presleys in the show. Auditions are now being held for a replacement because his stand-in, 23-year-old Sean Simon, is considered too young for the part. Well, why was he the stand-in in the first place then?
It's a good point. And Ray Cooney, didn't he do all the farces like Run for Your Wife and all them things? Oh.
Elvis the musical.
Right.
Also in the news, the Roxy Club in London's Covent Garden is finally doomed to closure after it failed last week to get its music and dancing licence renewed. The GLC turned down the application after objections from the police, Camden Borough and local residents. It was also alleged that 2 of the men running the club were of, and it says in quotes, of bad character. The Roxy was the mecca of London punk until early this year when it changed hands. I know there's obviously famous albums from there, and they're like, did you go there?
No, never went.
You never go there?
No,
okay.
I had the album.
Yeah, me too. And this coming Sunday, we'll see one of the biggest public celebrations of human solidarity in the music business for some time, organised by the Anti-Nazi League in coordination against Rock Against Racism. The event will proceed in 3 stages, which for the purposes of this announcement, we might term the rally, the carnival and the festival. So the lineup here was headlined by The Clash, Tom Robinson Band, Steel Pulse and X-Ray Specs. 100,000 people marched from 6 miles from Trafalgar Square to Victoria Park in Hackney to see that.
Famously, yeah.
So there was a Manchester version of this later in 78, one of the Northern Carnival.
Yeah, is that the one at Alexander Park?
It was, yeah. So you were on the bill, right?
We're on the bill, but we got taken off it. So I think they booked too many bands. I'm pretty sure Aswad played, and maybe the Smirks and Buzzcocks, as I remember. But yeah, we were on the bill and we got shunted off it and then got unceremoniously dumped at You Missed, supporting the rich kids.
Okay.
And there was about 15 people in the audience because obviously everybody was in the park.
Oh, Mark, didn't realise that.
Yeah.
I've not brought it up. And Cook, Jones and Thunders. So this is like a review by Nick Kent. This is the first serious attempt by any of the former members of the Sex Pistols to activate a new band. It was premiered by Paul Cook and Steve Jones last Saturday in London. Alongside the two Pistols, there was ex-Dolls Heartbreaker, Johnny Thunders with a bass player and the former French teenager Henry Paul to play the first ever set down the Speakeasy. So it didn't go as planned, but there's enough going on to suggest something might happen in the future.
You would imagine that at that point, nothing would probably go to plan around Johnny Thunders.
Well, here's the thing.
Fragile character, wouldn't he?
It's been no secret that both Pistols have virtually idolised Thunders. Jones, in particular, used the Dolls guitarist as his premier model and inspiration, while Cook openly admits that the Pistols ripped the Dolls off something rotten, particularly at the outset. Thunders, on the other hand, holds both Jones and Cook in the highest regard as rock musicians. It does go on to say, as you sort of alluded to there, the band's first time round sloppiness was exaggerated somewhat by Thunders himself, who was embarrassingly out of it, staggering around the stage with his eyes glazed, voice completely shot. Steve Jones kept mostly to rhythm, along with the odd Pete Townsend windmill power chord. Bassist Henry Paul kept to the back, trying to look cool with the classic cigarette slanted out from the edge of his mouth. His cool quotient was damaged irreparably, however, when on further scrutiny one noticed that the fag itself wasn't even lit.
Oh dear.
Oh.
But the thing is, I did play not that long ago at the top of the show, Puss in Boots by the New York Dolls, which basically the Pistols took for Liar.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, completely. So it would make sense to go there, but we're not going to go there.
We don't do that kind of thing on this programme, no. So, Kraftwerk then?
Yeah.
The Robots. Kraftwerk and the Robots, Mark Riley and Bobby Hughes.
Yes, we'll look at the enemy here, 29th of April 1978. This next section is going to be a bit Kraftwerk heavy.
Right.
Obviously, because they're on the cover, and this is an event. So, covered by Andy Gill, he says the ostensible reason for holding the premiere of Kraftwerk's new album, The Man Machine, in Paris, is that Kraftwerk are big in France, big to the tune of 350,000 copies of Trans-Europe Express, in fact. So, a motley collection of media people, liggers, and record company people in general have been shuttled there to attend the band's intriguingly titled Soirée Rouge. Red, you see, is the dominant colour motif in the Man Machine. The soirée is held at a penthouse club called the Sky of Paris, literally the highest point in the city, and the first thing you notice about the place is dozens of red lights. A home movie screen set up at one end of the place. There's a video projector facing another screen along one wall. Next to the video screen is an alcove that tonight houses life-size dummies of the band, neatly attired, of course, in red shirts, dark slacks, and black ties, adorned by a sequence of tiny red lights. The effect is, to say the least, disconcerting. So you're all herded there, not quite know what to expect. He says after a short while, the machines are set to work, the album starts playing, the cine projector's set in motion, and things start to get a trifle uncomfortable. The music's too loud, and everywhere you look, there's one of those red lights shining directly in your eyes. The effect being, it makes everybody look down. So trying to sort of replicate that scene from Metropolis with the workers. That was the idea, apparently.
Right. Okay.
The band finally arrived, dressed to a man in black shirts and red ties. Under the circumstances, all save small talk is impossible, and conversation is pretty limited. I'm a bit disappointed, as it happens, that they actually appeared in person at all. Surely the artificial representation would have been more in keeping with their futurist tendencies, which is a good point.
Yeah.
It is. I'd love to have been there, though. How great. An event.
I never saw Kraftwerk back in the day.
Did you not?
I saw them. The first time I saw them was the Festival of the 10th Summer, which would have been like 1986 at G-Mex, when it was all the Manchester bands, basically. No, not that one. It was supporting you too at G-Mex.
Okay, was that?
That's right.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they wouldn't be at the Festival of
Was that still the classic? Was it? I think sort of splintered a bit, and obviously Carl Bartas wasn't there. I don't think.
It was. It wasn't the original lineup, as I remember. But then I also saw them at the Apollo.
Yeah.
After that, but never caught them at the time.
Right, okay. As for the album review by Andy Gill, said it's rather unfortunate that Kraftwerk's current popularity is based to a large extent on the chic appeal of David Bowie's favour. True, such favour helps shift units, but the inevitable result is there are now a lot of people around who don't know why they like Kraftwerk, but sure, there must be something in them because David likes them. Interesting point, that.
Yeah, I think time has proved them to be, hugely influential.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, even on hip-hop, as we know. So.
Definitely, and dance music in general. Other new albums, you've got Roy Carr reviewing David Bowie and the Philadelphia Orchestra's Peter and the Wolf. As you may have guessed, he says, this isn't a follow-up to Heroes. It's not even a rock album by default. It's strictly a one-off shot, apparently recorded by Bowie for his son, and I guess children of all ages. I trust that people won't buy this album just to update their Bowie collection and shelve it unplayed. That's exactly what I did, I'll be absolutely honest.
A lot of Bowie fans will have bought it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know, it's great. Adventure is out, which got panned a little at the time by television, but I think is hugely underrated still.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because I bought it at the time, didn't get on with it really, considering the fact that Marquee Moon is one of my favourite albums ever, probably my top 20.
Yeah.
And I got Adventure, and I was really disappointed with it, and then I got rid of it, and then I bought it again around about 6 months ago, and I still wasn't that keen.
Oh, Mark.
There's some bits are good in it, but I just thought, yeah.
Oh, no. This is great.
Do you know,
Glory.
funnily enough, I didn't think it was adventurous enough. But anyway, here's Glory. And Glory from the album Adventure, Mark Riley and Bobby Hughes.
Yeah, well, we'll beg to differ then, eh?
Yeah.
Enemy, 29th of April 1978. Some of the gigs this week. You've got Jeff Beck, Genesis, Jefferson Starship and Brand X at Nebworth, Cherry Vanilla at the Rochdale Rock Club, Wire at Doncaster Outlook, Jonathan Richman and Modern Lovers at Derby Assembly Rooms, Magazine at Manchester Ritz. Was one of yours?
No, I didn't see that.
Rich Kids at Norwich St Andrews Hall, Perubu supported by the pop group at Eric's in Liverpool. You've got Japan opening for Blue Oyster Cult. Weird Bill at Bournemouth Winter Gardens, Heavy Metal Kids at the Regal Cinema in Ashington, Radio Birdman at the Hope and Anchor in Islington, Adam and the Ants at Rafters in Manchester, Slaughter and the Dogs at Bournemouth Village Bowl, and Manchester Band on the Wall, The Mechanics, The Elite and The Fall.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
what month is it?
This is April 78.
Right, okay, yes. I didn't play that one, I don't think.
On the live review front, you've got Squeeze at the Nashville in Kensington. It has to be said, there are three forces in this band, two of them pulling in different directions. In the red corner, Chris Difford, somewhat under the influence of Lou Reed, Warhol, New York punk, medium rare Weird Out. In the blue corner, the romantic Glenn Tilbrook, who loves Hendrix and Niels Lofgren, has a sheaf of bluesy ballady stuff to make a song publisher weep. Somewhere in the middle, I guess, stands Jules Holland, who'll turn his hand to whatever.
Well, yeah, he did.
He did. And live reviews again. Adrian Thrills reviews Steel Pulse at the Roundhouse, including support band The Police. I don't think A&M have gambled as inspiredly with this ageing bunch, who last year backed Cherry Vanilla. Classic bandwagoners, their leather jackets and peroxide jobs are just a thin veneer disguising well-played, cliche-ridden heavy metal rock.
Didn't they dye the hair blonde for a Wrigley's advert?
Is that why they did it? Seriously?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I
Okay.
did see Cherry Vanilla with the Police backing.
Yeah. And Reckless Eric at Dorking Halls by Neil Norman. He says, I don't know what the audience expected, but what they got was some of the loudest, dirtiest rock and roll around from the modern world's Nigel Molesworth. There were one or two punks in attendance, along with some public bar punters. Not the most receptive bunch I've seen. Mind you, Eric's frequent reference to the assembled multitude as the Dorks from Dorking did not make for an atmosphere of harmony.
That's Eric, innit?
It was a weird evening, but I enjoyed it. I just hope Eric's never given the chance to become too professional. Here.
He's a legend,
He is,
absolutely.
no doubt about it.
We're going to leave with a magazine and Shot by Both Sides.
We are, yeah.
Just want to say thanks to everybody involved in the programme. Tomorrow night we've got Charles Watson live in session, and we're not on air on Thursday night because it's the Mercury's, and next week, lest we forget, I'm on me Jollies, and so is Bob then. So yeah, we'll leave you with magazine and Giddy's next. Bye-bye.
Prepare to exit the parallel universe.
Mark Riley, BBC Six Music.
And shut the door on your way out.